We talked about Alabama.
Alabama reaches the College Cup for the first time.
Heisman Memorial Trophy.
The first soccer championship in school history.
Is still Alabama.
Welcome to the Crimson Tide Production Studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by Delaney Jones, and welcome to another episode of Tide TV This Week. Roll Tide, Delaney.
Roll Tide, Roger. Excited to be back at the desk. I can't believe we're already almost to the end of the year, and Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and the regular season is winding down for this Alabama football team too, Roger. They say November's the month you remember in college football, and the Tide is making it count so far. Indeed
they are. After a big win over LSU at Bryant-Denny Stadium, the Tide hit the road this past weekend to take on the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington. Crimson Tide jumped out to a quick 21-0 lead. 2 touchdown passes from Jalen Milroe, 26-yarder to Amari Niblack, and then a 40-yard touchdown strike to a wide-open Kobe Prentice made it 14-0. After Terrion Arnold made the hit and forced a fumble on the Wildcats receiver, Caleb Downs picked it up and almost returned it all the way. Downs was down at the 1, and then Millie push once again to get it to the end zone to put the Crimson Tide up 21-0.
After Kentucky scored their first touchdown against the Crimson Tide since 2013, Milroe found Roydell Williams wide open, and Williams used some fancy footwork down the sideline to put the Tide up 28-7 at the break.
The Tide added 3 more rushing touchdowns in the second half. 2 by Milroe and 1 from Jam Miller, as the Tide rolled big in Lexington, 49-21.
I thought this was a little bit of a trap game, and I actually asked the players yesterday in the team meeting to stand up and say what they had to do, each position, each leader at each position. And I told them before the game I trusted that they would go out and do that, and that's exactly what they did. So I trust in these guys that they're going to do the right things, make good choices and decisions, which is going to help them continue to grow and develop as a team, and hopefully finish business throughout, the rest of this season in terms of what we have to do to continue to get better and see if we can create an opportunity for ourselves. Obviously, it's great that we won the West and going to have an opportunity to play in the SEC championship game, which I'm very happy for this team that they were able to accomplish that. I think there's probably very few people after the Texas game or the South Florida game, a lot of naysayers out there never really believed in these guys, but I've always believed in this team and trusted in this team that they would develop into something that's special, and it has been special. It's been a great experience to see them grow and develop and the confidence that you need to, play really, really well.
And with that win over Kentucky, Alabama clinched the SEC Western Division title and earned a berth in the SEC Championship game. The Tide will take on the Georgia Bulldogs. It will be the 4th meeting of these 2 teams in the SEC Championship game, with the Crimson Tide winning all 3 previous meetings. It's also Alabama's 15th appearance in the SEC Championship game and 11th for Georgia.
That SEC championship game will be played in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 2nd, and the Tide loves playing there. Alabama has never lost inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Roger. The Crimson Tide are 7-0. Kickoff time is scheduled for 3 Central on CBS.
And game time has been set for the 88th edition of the Iron Bowl. Alabama and Auburn will square off next Saturday in Jordan-Hare Stadium at 2:30. The game will be broadcast on CBS.
And Roger, that will be the last Iron Bowl on CBS for a good bit here, as the SEC's contract with CBS expires this year.
The SEC struck an exclusive 10-year deal with ESPN starting next season.
Now let's take a look at our Crimson Tide in the NFL Players of the Week. And Roger, we start with one of our players from last week, and Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. Jacobs led the Raiders offense with 116 yards on 27 attempts, as Jacob helped the Raiders improve to 2-0 under interim head coach Antonio Pierce.
And staying with running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs led the Detroit Lions backfield with 112 all-purpose yards. Gibbs totaled 77 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns, as the Lions beat the LA Chargers 41-38. There were a lot of good runs for the Crimson Tide on Saturday as they defeated the Kentucky Wildcats. When we return, we'll give you an all-access look at the Tide's win over the Cats in Lexington.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
I'm very excited, man. The Tide fans are, ridiculous, man. We really love them.
Man, that environment is getting chills, when you step out on the floor and you see this arena filled with crimson.
Oh, I'm very excited. I keep on counting the days till we play in front of these fans again. We got the best fans in the country.
I know a lot of people are sleeping on us, but I know our fans aren't, so yeah, be ready.
Christy Curry is pretty pumped up about her crew, too.
How good can the Crimson Tide be again?
I think this group really bonds well together. They have great chemistry. I think you can always be the most passionate and the hardest worker in the room, and I will fight for those kids.
McQueen right down Main Street, and she'll get the foul.
Oh, what a three! A nice step through.
Gianna Cunningham. Oh, yes!
And then we add new faces, so this team is going to be fun to watch. And we've been working in Tuscaloosa, so we're excited for the season.
Bring it on.
We are here for it.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. After a month of playing at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium, the 8th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide football team hit the road this past Saturday to take on the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington.
Going into the matchup, the Crimson Tide were 38-2 all-time against the Wildcats. On Saturday, the Tide made it 39-2, and let's take an all-access look at the Tide's 8th win in a row over the Wildcats.
Glad you're with us to start this college football Saturday. Alabama wins today, and they clinch the SEC West. Now keep in mind, this is a Bama team that was filled with doubts back in mid-September. A Bama team that lost to Texas. A Bama team that benched their starting quarterback in week 3. Things are much different now. The dynamic, athletic quarterback Jalen Milroe has evolved into a force. 2nd and 6. Milroe has to cut back against the green, and that is exactly what we talk about in terms of being a decisive runner. And he stays in the backfield here on 1st down. And it's a good pass for a touchdown to Amari Niblack. Jalen Milroe is blossoming. And they're able to get to Leary and then just thrown back by Chris Braswell. Chris Braswell just ragdolled Devin Leary. Lofts it downfield, wide open, and score it. Tide, Kobe Prentice. Quick strike to the outside. Ball is out. Ball is scooped. Caleb Downs reaching for the end zone and ruled down at the 1-yard line. As they go with the tush push as Jalen Milroe scores yet another rushing touchdown, his 10th of the year. They fake the short pitch, and then he connects with Dupree. C.J. Dupree, and gets it complete to Williams, and Williams is able to turn the corner and score it for Alabama. And he is sacked. He is brought down, and a turnover on downs as that Bama front just collapses on him. Excellent break on the ball from Arnold. Terrion Arnold. What an interception. Roll Tide. And it is a high five for Jalen Milroe, his 5th total touchdown of the day. 2nd sack of the day for Alabama. Roydell Williams with a tush push of Jalen Milroe, and it's a 6-pack for Milroe. Trying to stay alive there and works his way back to the line of scrimmage. Simpson made a man miss and on the run before he is tripped up at his 1st and goals. Miller straight ahead and just add to it. The Tide is indeed rolling.
No mercy. No mercy. Let's empty this stadium, man.
This is an Alabama team that has done it again. They are the SEC West Kings.
What a scene at Coleman Coliseum.
Whoever shows up needs to be as loud as they can possibly be.
It is just as loud here at Coleman Coliseum tonight.
But Alabama able to battle and fight and dig down and show toughness and grit.
I thought the crowd was unbelievable.
I'm telling you,
This place is rocking right now. Alabama fans at Coleman Coliseum have been so good all year long. These fans deserve it.
Welcome back to Tide TV this week. The regular season is winding down for the Crimson Tide football team. Just 2 more regular season matchups before the SEC championship game on December 2nd.
Next week, the Tide will travel to Auburn for the Iron Bowl, but this week, the Crimson Tide hosting Senior Day at Bryant-Denny Stadium. For a preview of this weekend's matchup, our Christopher England joins us now. Christopher?
It's the last home game of the season for the Crimson Tide, and for some, it will be their last game in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Saturday will be Senior Day for the Crimson Tide as they host the Mocs of Chattanooga for the 14th time in school history.
Alabama has won all 13 previous matchups, with the last coming back in 2016 in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Chattanooga led the #1 ranked Crimson Tide 3-0 after the first quarter, but the Tide responded, scoring 31 unanswered points for the 31-3 win.
We're trying to emphasize with the players, and they've responded, fairly well, but the #1 focus, this week needs to be on this game. We need to take care of business in this game.
Playing in the Division I FCS level, Chattanooga enters Saturday's matchup 7-3. The Mocs have played 3 teams ranked in the top 25 of the FCS, defeating number 17 Samford 47-24 and losing by just 2 to 11th ranked Western Carolina. And then they lost a close matchup 17-14 to second ranked Furman in their last game. Chattanooga has the second ranked scoring offense in the SoCon, averaging over 31 points per game. That Mocs offense is led by junior quarterback Chase Artopius. He's a grad transfer from UCLA and currently ranks 3rd in the SoCon, averaging 267 passing yards per game. Artopius has thrown 20 touchdowns on the year to 7 interceptions. The Mocs have 2 of the best receivers in the SoCon. Jamoy Mays leads the conference with 92 receiving yards per game, while Javen Watley leads the league with 8 touchdown receptions on the year.
First of all, the quarterback's a really good player. I think the guy was at UCLA for 4 years or something like that. And so he's a, major college passer. He's very smart, makes good decisions. All these guys, good skill set. I'd say they're, on the level of SEC receivers. They throw a lot of RPOs and a lot of advantage throws. So these guys get a lot of touches in games depending on how you're playing on defense. So it's a talented group, and they have one of the best offenses, in their league, their division, whatever you want to call it, in the country.
Chattanooga also has one of the top defenses in their division. The Mocs lead the SoCon in defensive efficiency and are second in scoring defense and yards allowed, giving up just over 20 points per game and 336 yards. It's going to be an early one for the Tide's last home game of the season. Kickoff is scheduled for 11 o'clock. If you can't be here with us inside Bryant-Denny, you'll need to stream this one on SEC Network Plus and the ESPN app. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV this week coming up next.
When is a football more than a football? When it puts 4 years of higher education at your fingertips, provides medical, nutrition, and mental health support, offers academic tutoring plus medical coverage even after college, helps develop your brand, and teaches you that the end zone is only the beginning. For college athletes, a football just means more.
Christy Curry is pretty pumped up about her crew, too.
How good can the Crimson Tide be again?
I think this group really bonds well together. They have great chemistry. I think you can always be the most passionate and the hardest worker in the room, and I will fight for those kids.
McQueen right down Main Street, and she'll get the foul.
Oh, what a three! A nice step through.
Gianna Cunningham. Oh, yes!
And then we add new faces, so this team is going to be fun to watch. And we've been working in Tuscaloosa, so we're excited for the season.
Bring it on. We are here for it.
Welcome back to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. He's Roger Hoover, I'm Delaney Jones, and this is TideTV This Week.
It's good to have you back again with us here on the desk this week, Delaney.
Glad to be back at the desk, Roger. You know, I must be doing something right. And you know what else is great, Roger? Alabama soccer. The Alabama soccer team has advanced to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the third consecutive year in a row.
The Crimson Tide hosted Southern Conference champion Western Carolina in the first ever meeting between the two schools.
The Crimson Tide took an early lead in the 11th minute. Mariana Anest with the corner kick right to Macy Clem as she sent it right over the goalkeeper's head into the net for the first goal of the night, making it 1-0 Crimson Tide. Then in the 82nd minute, Atala Jameli put the match out of reach as she cut across the top of the box and sent the ball right past the diving Catamounts goalie for the score. It would be 2-0 Crimson Tide, and that would be the final as the Tide advances to the second round for the third consecutive season in a row.
Alabama will take on the third seed North Carolina Tar Heels on Friday in Lubbock, Texas in the second round.
Also on Friday, the Alabama men's basketball team held their second doubleheader of the week with the women's basketball team as the Tide hosted Larry Bird's alma mater, Indiana State. It was also the first ever meeting between the Tide and the Sycamores.
Alabama had three score 20 or more points. Aaron Estrada knocked down 6 of 8 from beyond the arc as he led the Tide with a game-high 27 points. Mark Sears scored 24, while Grant Nelson added 20.
The Crimson Tide dominated on the glass, out-rebounding the Sycamores 40-25. Alabama held an 11-point lead at the half, 48-37, and continued that into the final 20 minutes of play as the Tide rolled to the win 102-80.
Back in action on Tuesday night, the men took on the South Alabama Jaguars from Mobile. It was a tight contest early on. South Alabama led 15-12 at the 13-minute mark of the first half. But the Tide went on a 26-2 run to take a 21-point lead at 38-17. A Latrell Reitzel three-pointer with less than a minute remaining before halftime gave the Crimson Tide a 24-point lead at the break, 47-23.
Strong defensive play helped the Crimson Tide continue that dominance in the second half. A layup by Max Skarnowski with 35 seconds left put the Tide over the century mark for the third game in a row. The first time it's happened since the 1956-57 season, as Alabama rolled to the win 102-46. In the first game of that Monday doubleheader, the Crimson Tide women's basketball team hosted Winthrop. The Tide started off strong, jumping out to a 13-3 lead as the Tide led by 30 at the half, 47-17. Sarah Ashley Barker surpassed the 600-point mark as she finished with a team-high 19 points. Aaliyah Nye added 17 as she shot 5 of 11 from beyond the arc. The Tide defense was relentless, finishing the game with 7 blocks and 11 steals as Alabama rolled big, 79-50.
Back in action on Sunday, the Tide's defense didn't let up, holding Morehead State to just 11 first-half points as the Tide led by 30 at the break, 41-11. Crimson Tide had 5 scoring double figures, led by Aaliyah Nye, with 14, as she knocked down 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. Alabama won the first ever meeting between the two schools by 41 points, 85-44. Those wins for both the men's and women's teams improve each to a 3-0 start to the year.
What a great start for Alabama basketball, and the season is winding down for the Alabama volleyball team. The Tide held its next-to-last home match on the season this past Sunday in Foster Auditorium.
It was a hard-fought match. The Crimson Tide would fall to number 21 Florida in 3 sets. The Tide dropped the first set 25-23, with the Gators winning set 2 25-20, and then set 3 25-22.
Kaylee Palmer finished with a season-best 3 blocks, while Aaliyah Wells and Chase Campbell had a team-high 8 kills. Callie Kiefer added 23 assists, and the Tide will return to action on Sunday as they travel to Athens to face the Georgia Bulldogs.
The 20th ranked Alabama women's diving team was in action this past Friday as the Tide hosted West Florida. Crimson Tide women swept all 3 events. Riley Rogers led the team with wins on the 1-meter and 3-meter boards. Courtney Russo earned her second win of the season, taking top honors on the platform. The Alabama women's cross-country team will make their 4th consecutive national championships appearance as a team this weekend, while Victor Kiprop and Hillary Chariot will compete as individual qualifiers.
The Tide also received a couple of honors from the Southeastern Conference as well this week, Roger.
Victor Kiprop was named the SEC Men's Runner of the Year for the 2nd consecutive year. It's also the 3rd year in a row for the Crimson Tide to win the honor, dating back to 2021 with Iliad Kipsang.
And Doris Lemangole won Women's SEC Freshman of the Year honors in her first year competing for the Crimson Tide. Lemangole has finished in the top 2 in all 5 of her races so far this season.
Congratulations on those honors. We still have a lot to talk about on this week's show, including our plays and players of the week. We'll have those next, right here on Tide TV This Week.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Legacies rise from purpose. They're developed through passion, determination, and the power to follow through. This is where ambition meets opportunity. What happens next is up to you. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Now Sears trying to drive. Nelson cleans it up.
Stepping up his game in a larger role.
Pringle can't stop. Back-to-back action. Nelson, yes!
A deflection and a steal. Doty into the Crimson paint.
Got it! And he stays in the backfield here on first down. It's a good pass for a touchdown to Amari Niblack. Remember rush, they drop 8 against Milroe. Lofts it downfield, wide open and score it. Tied, Kobe Prentice. Quick strike to the outside. Ball is out. Ball is scooped. Caleb Downs reaching for the end zone.
Directing traffic, looking downfield, has a man catch made Williams. 10, 5, end zone. Touchdown, Alabama.
Excellent break on the ball from Arnold. Terry on Arnold. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, and those were some great plays of the week, Roger.
Always love our Legacy of Hope plays of the week. Now let's take a look at our players of the week. And we will start with a member of the Crimson Tide defense that has been impressive of late. Defensive back Terrion Arnold had 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, a pass breakup, a quarterback hurry, also a forced fumble that led to a touchdown, and an interception by Arnold in the second quarter, his 3rd of the year.
And Mark Sears had quite a start to this season against Indiana State. Sears finished 2nd on the team with 24 points, knocking down 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Then against South Alabama, Sears had a game-high 17 points, knocking down 3 of 4 from three-point land once again, Roger.
And goalkeeper Corley Lawyer shut out Western Carolina as the Crimson Tide soccer team advanced to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament. Lawyer had 4 saves in the win, her 4th shutout of the season. Congratulations to all of our players of the week.
What an exciting week it's been here at the Capstone, Roger. I can't believe we're already almost to my 2 favorite holidays, Thanksgiving and the Iron Bowl.
There we go. That's coming up soon. We hope everybody enjoys this week, and we hope to see you back here next week for another edition of Tide TV This Week. Roll Tide, Delaney.
Roll Tide, Roger.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,